Hello and welcome to day one of Bookmas. I'm actually so excited for Bookmas this year, but I'm actually also stressed out. Last year I did, I think, 12 days of Bookmas. I didn't do the whole Bookmas because it was stressing me out, but this year I've decided I'm going to post every other day instead of every day because that gives me time to edit, gives me time to do things for the videos. My birthday is also coming up, so that's going to be busy. And you get it, it's just a busy time of year. I am going to be doing, I think it's 12 videos again, but it's every other day, and it should end on Christmas Eve, I believe. Maybe the day. And at the end of Bookmas, I am going to be doing a giveaway. If you watch the videos, like, subscribe, comment your Amazon wish list, and I will be giving away 2 books from 2 people's Amazon wish lists. So put your wish list down below. You'll be entered in if you're subscribed. I'll spin a wheel at the end of Bookmas and we'll work it out and I'll get it to you. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't have to be Christmas related, it just has to be a book. And yeah, so I'm so excited for that. That's gonna be announced on the last video of Bookmas. But for this video, I'm gonna be doing wintry book recs. I feel like I really haven't read that many Christmas books, or that many Christmas books that I've like super loved to be able to do like a whole Christmas recs. So I'm gonna be doing a few Christmas recs and then some cozy and then some like dark winter vibes. So first and foremost, Christmas. My first rec is Along Came Holly. This is actually the 3rd book in the Mistletoe Romance series, and the first one is Nick and Noelle's Christmas playlist, which I thought was okay. The second is There's Something About Mary, M-E-R-R-Y, Mary, and I hate that book. I'm sorry. I don't hate it. I finished it. I don't know why, and there are redeeming qualities about it, but it's not for me. Hey, you may like it. But I think that the best book in the series by far is Along Came Holly. It's about this girl, stay with me now. It's about this girl who dresses up as an elf for her social media, and she like goes on adventures, and she's like adventure elf. Now, I thought that was gonna make me not like this book, but it actually doesn't end up playing as big of a role in it, and I think that's for the best. It's very cute. It's enemies to lovers. It's like rival shop owners in this small town, and it's very sweet. So if you're gonna read that series, I would recommend, I mean, you're kind of gonna get some spoiler and some background, but I think you could easily read them in any order and be like, oh, okay, that was them. Because it's like the other couples, it's these 3 siblings, Nick, Mary, and Holly. They're all named after Christmas. How cute is that? But anyway, next Christmas recommendation is Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogle. Sarah Hogle is one of my instant buy authors. I love everything she does. Now, her writing style and her stories are very heavy on the comedy side. Her writing is very quirky, very funny. So Just Like Magic is like a really kooky magical realism kind of thing. It's like our main character accidentally plays All I Want for Christmas Is You backwards while drinking wine or something, or like spills wine on it and plays it backwards, and the spirit of Christmas comes out. His name is Hall. He's the holiday spirit. But it actually is very, very cute. She has to like, she's trying to impress her family, and Hall keeps like taking her back in time when she messes stuff up, but he's like slowly losing his magic. It was sweet. And it's just an easy, comfortable Christmas romance. Next is Love Light Farms. I feel like this is a very popular Christmas romance, so you've probably read it, but it's the start of a series. I haven't read the rest of the series. I don't believe the rest of the series is Christmas. It's just the sweetest. If you like friends to lovers, this is just the sweetest friends to lovers. Like, she's oblivious, he's in love with her. Christmas vibes. It's adorable. I highly recommend it. I think I rated it 5 stars. So those are my Christmas recs. Again, I didn't want this to be bogged down with like just Christmas recommendations. I do have a Christmas recs video from last year that I think is just Christmas holiday recs. So now we're just gonna get into the cozy, like reminds me of winter time recommendations. First is the Crave series, and if for some reason you haven't heard of this series or you haven't read it, you definitely should. It's very YA. There are a lot of like contemporary like pop culture references, like the main character loves One Direction. So it's very much like a romantasy. It is not like a high stakes, high, what do they call it? High magic? No. I'll put it, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's very much just a chill, funny, but also like super tension, romantic fantasy. It's about this girl named Grace who's a human, and she goes to this boarding school. It's kind of like if you've ever seen Legacies. I haven't. But if you've ever seen Legacies, it's kind of like that. She goes to a boarding school up in Alaska. It's in the middle of nowhere, freezing cold, and she starts to realize that this is a school for people with magical powers and who are like mythical beings, but her uncle is the headmaster of the school and her cousin goes there, but she finds out there's vampires, dragons, witches, werewolves, and so she gets kind of sucked into that world. And of course she falls in love with a broody vampire. The first book is really good. This is not like an ACOTAR situation where I'm like, just get through the first one and then the rest are so good. I do still really like the first one, but I do think it gets better after the first. I think the second and the third are probably my favorite. I think there's 5 in total. I have yet to read the 5th book. No, there's 6 in total, and I've yet to read the 6th book. Books are pretty long, but they go by really fast, so if you need to like just jump into a comfortable comfort characters series, I recommend Crave. Next is Out of Play. This is kind of a super random pick because it's like an old YA book. I got this from Half Price Books years ago, and it was published years before that, but it's about this guy who's in a rock band and he's having to like kind of rehabilitate, and he gets sent out to Alaska to rehabilitate. Again with Alaska, I guess this is just, that's the wintry vibe. But when he's there, he meets this girl. I'm pretty sure she's a hockey player, and she doesn't know who he is. He like lies about who he is or lies by omission or whatever. But it was a very cute YA romance, and I've never heard anybody talk about it. I haven't read it in years, but I remember liking it a lot. By the way, my book tree. I know this is going to be controversial to some people. All the spines were already cracked. They just laid there perfectly like that. You're ruining your books. That's okay, baby. That's okay. I don't mind. And it's my book tree. Anyway, so that's Out of Play. I like to recommend sometimes some kind of out of the blue stuff because I feel like a lot of these were very popular, so you either have already been recommended them or have already read them. So yeah, I feel like Out of Play is kind of a unique pick. Next is In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle, and if you've ever read any Rebecca Searle books, you're probably like, cozy? Huh? It is extremely sad, but it is also super cozy. It takes place in New York. I don't know if it necessarily takes place over winter, but there's definitely like cold, wintry scenes. It's kind of it has some magical realism, but it also is just kind of a character. You're just following this main character through her trying to figure out her life and her relationships. I believe this was the first Rebecca Searle I ever read, and it made me fall in love with her. Hey, dog. Hey, girl. Yeah, very, very sad and deep and good, but also just like a cozy, comforting, super quick read. You can read this in one setting. It's like less than 300 pages, I think. Next is the dark winter vibes. I don't read many thrillers, but these are some thrillers that I really, really like. So the first one is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. If you've yet to read this, I think it was a book of the month, maybe 2 years ago now. Alice Feeney has blown up since then. I haven't read any of her other books. I need to, but again, I'm not a huge thriller reader. But this was so good, so weird. Isolated at this church turned Airbnb in the middle of nowhere. You can't trust anybody. Very spooky, winter, cold. If you're looking for more of a scary, tense vibe for your winter reading, definitely Rock, Paper, Scissors. Next is The Family Game. Now this kind of is Christmas. It takes place around like Thanksgiving and Christmas, I believe, if I remember correctly. This girl goes to meet her, I think he's her fiance at this point. She goes to meet her fiance's family. If not, it's her serious boyfriend. She goes to meet his family, and he's like nervous about her meeting his family. And this family is just like very weird, very rich, big money kind of family. It's giving Knives Out a little bit, but she like just has a weird feeling about them. She keeps like finding this evidence about them, and she thinks something not right is going on, and so she gets in this investigation, and she's digging around where she shouldn't be, and it was just very uncomfortable. Good, but uncomfortable. My only thing that kept me from rating this a 5 stars is the ending. The ending made sense and it was a good twist, but I feel like it could have been hinted at more. Like it was kind of like wanted to be too jarring, too surprising. But also, I don't know, maybe that's just me. I'm never good at like calling out what the twist is going to be, because I don't like to think when I read a thriller. I don't want to put the pieces together. I just want to read the book and be like, oh my gosh, when something crazy happens. Oh yeah, and the reason it's a family game, they start playing these games, and they play this game with Krampus, and it's like a hide and seek game, and someone's coming after them in a Krampus costume. You gotta read it. Okay, and last but not least is a book that I just read, just rated 5 stars, and I think it has changed all thrillers for me. I love this. I made my best friend read it. She loved it. It's so good and weird and crazy. The Unraveling by V. Keeland. Now, you may know V. Keeland from her romance books. This is her, I think, her first thriller, and it's a wild ride. So this therapist, her husband gets into an accident and it kills this man's wife and kid. This is not a spoiler, this is all known. And she sees him one day and he's like talking on the phone, laughing, happy, and she was like, how is he happy? My life is falling apart. And so she starts to get kind of obsessed with him, but she's like, she's getting her psychology practice back because she was kicked out for a reason we don't know why. She's grieving her husband, getting her practice back. She's having to go to like mandated therapy sessions herself. She's taking clients back on, and so she's just in this big mess, but she's like starting to become obsessed with him and starting to stalk him, the man whose family passed because of her husband. And it is just crazy. It's crazy. It's so interesting. There was always something to keep my attention. There's so many things to be unraveled. The ending. I still can't even really comprehend the ending. I still haven't put, like, it hasn't clicked to be like, oh, okay, like, I still have questions. V. Keeland, I have questions. I highly recommend it anyway, but it, again, I don't know if it necessarily takes place in winter, but I know it has like a winter, I hate to say vibe or aura, but it has a winter aura around it, and it's in New York City. It's in a big city. I swear it's New York. It was just so good. I recommend it to everybody, even if you're not a thriller reader, because I am not usually, and it just changed the game for me. So those are my recommendations. I hope that was a good variety of book recommendations. So I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in 2 days. My birthday vlog will be coming up. Me going and getting my birthday freebies, book shopping, Christmas vlog, doing Christmas stuff, all that kind of fun stuff. And reminder about the giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe and comment your Amazon wish list and you will be entered. You only have to do it on 1 video. But yeah, other than that, I will see you on the next day of Bookmas. Bye!